ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. Actually, let me say welcome to the first episode back and consistent. And yeah, we're always facing technical difficulties. We have a timer that's working but not working on the TV. That's okay. We know we released a few episodes, two actually, just two.
Alrighty. Welcome to the stream. I'm producer Nat. I'm excited to have all of you here with me. Today we're diving behind the scenes of Three Wise Guys Entertainment, a podcast I produce with Arya, the mic host here. Initially, Arya, Delapo, and Luke had been running this podcast for nearly 95 episodes, and they were only doing it on Riverside. So they were around for quite a while. 95 episodes, an hour episode. Every episode is a lot of content. So they're definitely not a new group, but they've been kicking it for a while, and it's only been on audio. So if you were in their shoes, you'd be wondering, what could I do better? And so we deliberated, and they brought me on as a producer. My basic responsibilities for this podcast is to just help them present themselves in a new way, a way that's easily digestible, and just focus on how can we deliver this podcast in a way that we like it. So my name is Davin Park. I'm a photographer. I graduated with a BFA in image arts photography. I've been constantly chasing different projects that test and push my capabilities as a creative individual. And so for this year, one of my personal goals for this podcast is to share a little bit more about myself and what goes on behind the scenes of producing the podcast. I'm in no means an expert in video editing or color grading. But the whole purpose of helping Arya and the other wise guys is to continue to push my knowledge and learn new skills that will definitely benefit me one day. So whether you're into podcast producing or just curious about the magic that goes behind the mic, you're in the right place. Join my journey in honing this craft. I would love any one of you guys to within the industry, or whether you just like to listen to podcasts, help me with some advice, chime in, help a brother out, you know. So tune in, join the chat. Let's get down to the video editing. So basically what I do is I open up Davinci Resolve, make sure everything is updated. I'll open up a new project. So then I'll name this E109. I believe that is the one. E109. Just don't want to have to go back and rename it, you know, it's such a hassle. Okay, so I open up the project. Before I get into anything, I want to check the settings here. Double check that we recorded in 29 frames a second, so we're just quickly change that. And then I'm gonna import all my media. So I have oh, actually I want to see that. Does it show you guys? It doesn't. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. It's this one. I need to grab the audio file. So Arya works on the audio file, and he sends that over to me. Then I basically get into Davinci Resolve and I put the audio and the visuals together. A little bit easier said than done, but I will show you guys. Might not get through all of it today, but I hope to show you at least what it takes to put everything into the project, organize it, set up a multi-cut cam, and as well as like a color grading timeline. So we download this. And then I think that'll be the extent of it. It will still be long because the episode is actually just over an hour. And so to listen to it and like cut through it, you have to like listen to it more than an hour. But you know, that is the name of the game. A bit of a technical difficulty, but we're back. So now that we've double checked the frame rate is correct, I am going to open up all of my necessary items for this episode. So audio file first, really the most important thing. Podcast. Then going to bring in the phone angle. This. We have a Sony camera. And then I'm just gonna pause really. I need to Fuji files. All right, we are back. So let me just quickly bring in that Fuji angle. And now that we have everything here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the media page. Have all of my clips here, as well as the audio. So this is the main, I guess, angle where you can see all of them. And so we're going to call that camera A. Sony, we can call this one B. And we can continue to call the rest of the ones from Sony B. And then the ones from the Fuji, we'll call it C. Oh, the lighting is so nice. We added some fill lights that were shooting up at the ceiling. And then the audio we can leave alone. And then we're going to go over to the edit tab. Bring over crashing. Okay, we're back. Drag over audio and we're going to, I'm going to give it about 10-second space. Then I'm going to lock it. So we have that. A cam. Actually all shot on an iPhone. And if you shoot from iPhone 15 Pro, I think that's what the phone we're using, and you shoot at 4K into a T7 hard drive, I'm sorry, SSD. Yeah, SSD hard drive. It can record for until like you run out of storage or the battery dies. So that is awesome. So we're able to shoot an iPhone for the full pod. Some issues that we run into is the cameras. So Sony cameras, we don't have an external battery that we, or recorder that we record onto. It's just straight in camera. So recording times can vary depending on the temperature of the camera. So somewhere from like 20-minute clips to 30 minutes if we get lucky. So for this pod episode, we have 3 of them. So I'm gonna grab these 3 and bring them over. And as you can see, the audio is on the same audio track as the first iPhone clip. So we're gonna drag so all these are selected. Then I believe it's Alt and then down arrow. Yeah, and then everything of the video goes down. Now what you're gonna do is gonna go down. Oh, sorry, Alt and then up arrow key. Everything moves up. You're gonna grab everything and then drag it over. Then we have everything stacked there. Do the same thing for camera C. Okay. So as you can see, there are some discrepancies. Go across to the end. Some end earlier than the others. So to organize the tracks, what we're gonna do is unlock that first audio track. I'm gonna focus on the main audio source and then the first video source. The video source also has an audio track, so based off of the wavelengths, we can auto align the clips. And so what I'm gonna do is get rid of the media pool going. And you only want to select the video clip that you want to align. And I would do this one at a time. I wouldn't like grab all of these just for the sake of keeping track and making sure there are no misalignments. So I will select the first video track and then the master audio track. We'll right click on the video and there's a selection for auto align clip. If I select all of these clips and try to look for that, it disappears. Not there. You can do it, I believe. Yeah, you can do it if it's stacked like this. But if you bring in another one, it won't do it. So just for the sake of, again, consistency, I would just do it one by one. So auto align clips, it will suggest time code. I'm gonna do it by waveform instead. And we're gonna use track number 1, the main audio source. This is the main audio source that was edited by Arya. And so this is the master one. And we want to base everything off of that to this. Sync. This analyzing is actually a lot quicker if you do it one by one as well. I've realized throughout my editing experience. Because I'm recording on OBS at the same time as editing, everything might be just a little bit slower. That aligned, and then as you can see, the video clip moved up in front of the audio clip. The reason for that is when we start the podcast, I start the visuals first, and then I drop in the mic. Oh, actually, that's not the case. Yeah, no, I think it is audio first and then visuals. It's just Arya had cut it to here, and so he didn't get a chance to cut the video. I was able to catch a little bit before. So this is like all the behind the scenes stuff actually. So let's play some of this. Will it catch the audio?
Good.
In my butt.
Ooh, pretty good. That mic's a little low, no? Which one? I remember. You guys are a little old? Low.
Alrighty,
Like,
5.
Wait, before you start recording, did anyone get a chance? Did you guys listen to the last episode?
Yeah.
How did you like the quality? Was it slightly better
I
than
didn't
usual?
like it.
It was worse.
It was worse?
Well, like, I think my mic was, like, way too fucking high.
Too high.
Way too high.
Too high.
But I don't think that was because of this. I don't know what happened.
No, because that was the first I had. I'm doing individual tracks instead of like everyone doing a track. Okay, maybe I'm just gonna bring yours down. I
Yeah,
said the
yeah,
settings, but like, yeah.
Which week?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, like, I won't lie.
Okay. Looks like they have like a similar body.
To another episode.
Way too loud. Okay, so we're gonna drop the audio. I'm actually gonna go to the main one. Go to audio 1. Inspector, and then turn the volume down. Oh, 20 is too much. Wait. Then
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast.
yeah, this is fun
Hello.
because people can turn their volumes down by themselves. Okay. Alrighty, so we'll get rid of the inspector. We'll go back to cuts, open up multicam, go in a little bit.
Welcome, ladies. Okay.
So right at the K, I like to end the fade because give them some time to go fade into the O. So I'll go C here. I'll zoom out and then quickly drag this guy over to the. And if we just play that for maybe.
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. Hello, Delapo.
I just had
Hello,
the,
Luke.
I just had the dumbest thought. to start
Hello,
the
hello,
podcast.
Davin.
Hello.
Hello.
Davin. Actually, Davin, you should get on camera. You should show everyone your
Nah, I'm
your
good.
new digs.
All of the viewers on the Twitch can see my new digs. I got braces recently. They're an adjustment, I'll say that. Anyways,
No, we have
still
to
an
have
Easter
the-
egg.
Still an Easter egg.
We have to
Alright.
have the 1 million Davin reveal, but
Yeah.
I know you tried.
Yeah, we wanted like 1 million people to view us before I revealed myself, but like that's gonna happen.
To skirted past my dumb
you should-
thought.
I was gonna say, please.
No, I
Imagine-
just wasn't done. I was
Yeah.
gonna get back to that. Actually,
Yeah.
I want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
It was clearly intrusive.
Your
in my
dumb
case
thought
as
makes
well.
us all dumber, and I think we're only a family if we're only as dumb as our smartest dumb.
Yes, yes. And then this is my dumb thought. I'm like, you can make noises that are vowels. You know what I mean? As like kind of like a intro, but you can't use a voice that's like not a vowel. Like you could be like, oh, or ah.
Okay, so I'm realizing that Luke is now having a bit of a longer talking piece. This would be good to switch the camera angle. And so I'm going to go back to when he was first talking and try to incorporate that cut. Oh.
Davin. Actually, Davin, you
Nah, I'm
your
good.
new digs.
I'm
good. No, we have to
Still
have
an Easter
the-
egg.
Still an Easter egg.
We have to have
Alright.
the 1 million.
So right there, he comes in after Arya was talking to me. This would be good if I just zoom in here.
Easter egg.
And then I'm gonna wait for the initial audio cue from Luke and then click number 2 and switch to Sony.
We have to have the 1 million.
So he said 1 mil. I think I'm gonna go back until he says 1. And click Q. And now we're in it. If I wanted to adjust this, I could just go like this and adjust the cut, but I like it where it is. To review it, we can go back and just play.
We have to have the 1 million.
Still an Easter egg.
We have to
Alright.
have the 1.
I think the we have to, him saying we have to, is a bit louder than I was expecting. So actually drag that. I'll go. Let's try we have
Still an
to.
Easter egg.
We have to
Alright.
have.
Wait,
Easter egg.
We have to have the
Alright.
1.
too soon.
Still an Easter egg.
We have to have the
Alright.
1.
A little too soon.
Still an Easter egg.
We have to have the
Alright.
1 million.
An Easter egg.
We have to
Alright.
have the 1 million.
I think I
An
like
Easter
it.
egg.
We have to have the
Alright.
1 million Davin reveal, but
It's like loud, but like not loud enough to be important. And so it being in the main shot while everybody else is talking fits in this
Yeah, yeah.
visual angle. So we have to. And then the more important part when everyone actually stops
have the
talking,
1 million Davin reveal, but
Yeah.
I've
it makes it a little bit more impactful, I find. At least for like people who are more visually interested.
I know you try to skirt it past my dumb
you should-
thought.
I was gonna say, please.
And then Delapo came in there apologizing, so I'm gonna do a quick cut back to him.
Try to skirt it past my dumb
you should-
thought.
So he points in the other angle. I can see it over here.
My
Yeah,
dumb.
I can see right here, and in this camera, the finger shows up. So I like that. I think I'm gonna wait until it shows up in Sony. Then right over here, I'm gonna switch to number 3, and then I don't know. Looks nice. So let's review that.
It's my dumb thought.
Yeah. So it's nice.
Try to
just,
skirt
you
it
see
past
it
my
here,
dumb thought.
and then he finishes the movement, and then he has a talking piece.
No, I just wasn't done.
I was gonna say, please.
I was
gonna
gonna get back to that. I want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
And right at the end of the sentence,
I want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
because Arya's in the other angle as well, and Luke is about to respond, or we switch Sony.
I want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
It was clearly intrusive.
As he's saying, okay, maybe we can give it a little bit more space so we can see that.
I
shape.
want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
It was clearly
Or we can do it before the hand or Arya reach.
No, I just wasn't done. I was gonna get back to that.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So let's review these 3
To
cuts.
pass my dumb
you're-
thought.
I was gonna say, please.
No, I just wasn't done. I was gonna get back to that. I want you.
Yeah, he said I wasn't done. I was gonna get.
Just
back.
wasn't done. I was gonna get.
Separating those 2 sentences. Nice.
I just wasn't done. I was gonna get back to that. I want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
it was clearly intrusive.
And then the Lapo comes back in.
It was clearly
Give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
it was clearly intrusive.
Give your dumb
It
thought.
Okay.
It was clearly intrusive.
Give your dumb-
Okay.
It was clearly
It was clearly, and then intrusive.
it was clearly intrusive.
Give your dumb
Michael.
thought makes us all dumber, and I think we're only a family if we're only as dumb as our smartest dumb.
Yes.
It's dumb.
And going back to the full group, and then I'll do a quick back into it.
As our
he starts
smartest
talking.
dumb.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
We're only as dumb as our smartest dumb.
Yes. Yes. And then
Smartest dumb.
this is my
As our smartest dumb.
yes.
As our
Only as dumb as our smartest dumb.
break up those the as our because he says it twice.
We're only as dumb as our smart
as our
as dumb as our smartest dumb.
Yes. Yes. And then this is my dumb thought. I'm like,
and then he starts with this.
this is my dumb thought. I'm like,
and then we'll cut.
this is my dumb thought. I'm like, you can make noises that are
Yes.
vowels. You know what I mean?
You guys get what I mean? Like, at this point, it's just fun because you're just trying to make sense of things. And so, this stream or this recording that you're seeing, we are just going to run through that. And you guys get to see an early bit into, well, if it is streaming, we get to see an early bit into the podcast, what we're talking about. But yeah, you get to see how the workflow is. It's pretty fun. It's not as daunting as some people make it out to be. So once I made like a decent amount of cuts, not a lot, but I like to review it.
Easter egg.
Still an Easter egg.
We got to
Alright.
have the 1 million Davin reveal, but
Yeah.
I know you try to skirt it past my dumb
you're-
thought.
I was gonna say, please.
No, I just wasn't done. I was gonna get back to that. I
Yeah.
want you to give your dumb
Okay.
thought.
It was clearly intrusive.
Your
Michael.
dumb thought makes us all dumber, and I think we're only a family if we're only as dumb as our smartest dumb.
Yes. Yes. And then this is my dumb thought. I'm like, you can make noises that are vowels. You know what I mean? As like kind of like an intro, but you can't.
From this point on, it's kind of sad, but all of the iPhone footage is meant to be there so that it is for the intro, like the first 10 minutes, and then the outro, the last 10 minutes. And then as a safety precaution, if one of the cameras fails to record, or like those gaps, and let's say someone's talking and we don't have an angle on them, having the iPhone record for the entire footage is blessed. But with that said, the remainder of the cuts will most likely just be from the Sony and the Fuji for the next 40 minutes. Just as a
A voice that's like not a vowel. Like you could be like oh or ah or like I, but you can't be like zzz to like start the episode. Like that's not a sound that you make. Like I guess I don't know.
What kind of random?
No,
You can control Z to undo cuts.
A voice that's like not a vowel, or or like I, but you can't be like zzz to like start the episode. Like that's not a sound that you make. Like I guess I don't know.
What kind of random?
No, in all fairness, he did.
I like how like Galapagos like I don't know winding up to that laughter. So seeing that.
Like I guess I don't know.
What kind of random?
No, in all fairness, he did say it's a dumb thought.
Yeah,
So when Arya like does his hand gesture, he did say, "I think I'm gonna cut to the main group so I can catch all of them laughing."
In all fairness, he did say it's a dumb thought.
Because Arya.
What are
There we go.
In fairness, he did say it's a dumb thought.
yeah.
He did say it's a dumb thought. In all fairness, he did say it's a dumb thought.
Because Arya.
What are we supposed to do with that? What the fuck?
Arya.
And then now he's going to go in for the, I guess, explanation. So he goes, Arya, and then 2.
Arya said oh, and I was like oh. Arya said oh, and I was like oh, but you can't use like another. I was like,
No,
While he's explaining, I'm also looking at camera 3 just so that I can like, if Delapo has an interesting reaction, I want to bring that in.
exact thought.
that worked. I do feel dumber.
But because it was just Arya talking, we can keep it on camera 2. And then he started laughing. Back a bit. Cut.
Like I'm just confused, and that was fine, but now I'm confused. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, well, Luke is on a very slow and gradual journey to become. I identify as sober curious, and this.
That's hilarious. So we'll watch.
This and Yes, and this is the current progress of my mental state. So
Sober curious.
Of current progress. This is the current progress of my mental states. So
Sober curious.
Sober curious.
Wait, I want to learn more about this.
This is the current progress of my mental states. So
Sober curious.
Sober curious.
Wait, I want to learn more about this.
wait, so I actually think this is like a pretty like marketed term, like the sober
really?
curious, where it's like it's the trend of
If there is a like a ad lib from D that's not too important for a visual, I just won't cut to it. So he does say, "Oh, really?"
pretty like marketed term, like the sober.
As you can see, his hands over his face, and not really something that you need visually. That you can take away from it. The audio. Keep it on 2.
The sober curious, where it's like it's the trend of like millennials and Gen Z like not basically like not drinking, like they do other things, right? Like they run clubs, THC, other things like that.
Did they both say that at the same time?
THC, other things like that.
Like that's so insane.
Math.
What?
Wait, sorry. What's T?
Things like that.
Wait. Sorry, what's THC?
THC?
Okay. But like, I thought like that abandons the whole notion of being sober. No.
Yeah, right.
Well, more
we're
so
talking
like
about
alcohol specifically.
Okay,
right? 'Cause, like,
alcohol. Okay.
again,
Okay, so those were just some quick cuts. I like that. That was kind of fun. So we'll drag this over a little bit.
specifically.
Okay,
right? 'Cause, like,
alcohol. Okay.
Okay, alcohol.
specifically.
Okay,
right? 'Cause, like,
alcohol. Okay.
Okay.
Sober. No.
Yeah, right.
well,
we're
more so
talking-
like
Being sober. No.
Yeah, right.
more
That's crisp.
Okay. But like,
This one, I kind of want to go from when Arya looks right there. Boom.
okay.
Yes.
THC?
So what is this?
THC?
So him saying THC. So we'll go
THC?
THC.
when Arya looks left. Whoop. Right there.
THC.
THC?
Okay.
Yeah, that's so smooth. Okay. And then over here.
Wait. Sorry, what's
Wait.
wait. Sorry.
See the hand? So I hold this. You can see on the playback, you can see both hands in both frames. So as soon as the hand comes in, I think that's cut.
Wait. Sorry, what's THC? Wait. Sorry.
Wait. Like a bit.
Things, right? Like they run clubs, THC, other things like
Meth.
that.
Wait. Sorry, what's THC?
THC?
Okay. But like, I thought like that abandons the whole notion of being sober. No.
Yeah, right.
Well, more
we're
so
talking
like
about
alcohol specifically.
Okay,
right? 'Cause, like,
alcohol. Okay.
again, like when
Yes.
when we talk,
If you make a mistake, clicking the wrong number, but you like where you cut it, you can go on that clip, right click, switch multicam clip angle, switch it. Life changer.
again, like when we talk about sobriety in general, I think like
Fair.
society is still more on like
Yeah, and for the
alcohol
other
than-
stuff, it's high end versus low.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Drugs are still
Yes.
drugs. Alcohol is just alcohol.
Yeah. It
Okay.
kind of has its own like separate kind of notion, right? But
Sober
So how's that
curious.
going?
yeah. So I mean, it's going, I guess.
Okay, wait. I just zoned out because I was just listening to them, so I'm gonna go back.
In general, I think like
Fair.
society is still more on like
Yeah, and for
alcohol
the other
than-
stuff, it's high.
Okay, I need that.
general, I think like
Fair.
society is still more on like
Yeah, and for the
alcohol
other
than-
stuff, it's high end versus low.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Drugs are still
Yes.
drugs. Alcohol is just alcohol.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of has its own like separate kind of notion, right? But
Sober
So how's that
curious.
going?
kind of notion, right? But
Sober
So how's that
curious.
going?
yeah. So I mean, it's more on like
Yeah, and for the
alcohol
other
than-
stuff, it's high end versus low.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Drugs are still
Yes.
drugs. Alcohol is just alcohol.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of has. Exactly. Yeah.
Drugs are still
Yes.
drugs. Alcohol is just alcohol.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of has its own like separate kind of notion, right? But
Sober
So how's that
curious.
going?
yeah. Kind of notion, right? But
Sober
So how's that
curious.
going?
yeah. So I mean, it's going, I guess. that's how it's going. Like,
Okay, group laughter. That's a group shot. So
I mean, it's going, I guess. that's how it's going. Like, it's one of those things where like, you know, like the way I'm thinking about this is like I do not think of. It's one of those things where like, you know, like the way I'm things are like, you know, like those things are like, you know, like the way I'm thinking about this is like I do not think of this as like I'm just gonna not drink for like a month and then I'll just fucking like go back to it in February. So I'm like trying to make this like a slow and sustainable transition for me, like, you know, like throughout the course of my life sort of
Love
thing.
that.
But yes, January. Before we get into our topics, one thing I wanted to talk about was like, how are you guys feeling like getting back into work? Like, have you guys been like really on it? Because I'll be honest, you guys been like really on it? Because I'll be honest, like getting back into work, like has it to work? Like has it, have you guys been like really on to work? Like have you guys been like really on it? Because I'll be honest, like I think this was my first full week back. Like I get into the office on like Monday or Tuesday, and I'm just like I'm like, what am I like? What is my job? I was gonna, like,
That reminded me. Happy New Year's to
Tuesday, and I'm just like I'm like, what am I like? What is my job? I was gonna, like,
That reminded me. Happy New Year's to all of our listeners.
Oh,
Okay, I thought the Fuji angle would be okay, but he wasn't looking at it, so switch it to 1.
what is my job? I was gonna, like,
That reminded me. Happy New Year's to all of our listeners. Happy New Year's. Thank you for coming into 2025 with us. We don't forget you like we just did usually. We think about you a lot. We're just, aces. I had a really weird week. It was fine. It was relatively productive where, you get a good amount of stuff done.
Yep.
But it wasn't a normal week. It didn't feel like a normal week. My brain was kind of in la la land a little bit. I don't know. I did things that I shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? And I didn't do things that I should have done. And
Classics.
Yeah, that was my. You know what I mean? And I didn't do things that I should have done. And do things that I should have done. And
Classics.
Yeah, that was my week. But tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
He was just like zoning out.
Classics.
Yeah, that was
Classics.
Yeah,
Classics.
yeah, that was my week. But yeah, that was my week.
That's the wrong number.
Yeah, that was my week. But tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
I didn't do things that I should have done. And
Classics.
Yeah, that was my week. But tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. For me, got into work on Monday. Yeah. 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 For me, got into work on Monday and it was fucking it was like fire for fire.
Yes,
So-
you had a
Like
much more.
Okay.
and it was fucking it was like fire for fire.
Yes,
So- It was like fire for fire.
yes,
So-
you had a
Like
much more.
Look over. Boom.
it was like fire for fire.
Yes,
So-
No, I think.
Fire.
yes,
So-
you had a
Like
much more eventful week.
like on Monday.
Eventful week.
Like on Monday, I mean, we're in literally the last month of our quarter. My company's financial year ends in January. So like end of the quarter is always like insane. But like in my head, I was like, whatever. Like, I could probably navigate this like right before the holidays started. Like, like I try to get some stuff to right before the holidays ended, rather. Try to make sure I was like, semi prepared. And I was. But on Monday we have like a business unit meeting, and basically everything I thought and everything most of us thought was just like bombed, and like the whole reorg. There's like a bunch of shit happening, and so like my whole week was like just kind of like making sure like my quarter like I understand what's going on there, and like figuring out like like what's gonna happen like next month, because next month is the beginning of a new year and everything's changing. And so, like, I feel like up until even like Friday, kind of like up until like 12 p.m. on Friday, there was like always something and like something to be doing. And I also have like an event, a work event on like in a couple weeks. And I was like, wait, fuck, like, where am I with that? Like, I was on holiday, like all these people were on holiday. So yeah, like it was a decent amount of scrambling, like not in a bad way, but just in like, why was I even on holiday again? Like, it probably would have been beneficial not to have gone on holiday and just continued working. I remember I was sharing that with like my mentor at work. So I was like, what the fuck was the point of going like for Christmas break if you're just gonna come back and the intensity is gonna be like 2x like what you left it. So Yeah, like it's been good. Like I'm not complaining, but like it's really been like, oh, like baptism by fire. Like,
Yeah.
like getting back in. There was no like by fire. Like,
Yeah.
like getting back in. There was no like, oh, by fire. Like,
Yeah.
like getting back in. There was no like, oh, like I think the people that started like on the second and the third, because like that was like Thursday, Friday. Yes, they got like a lull period.
Yeah.
But like starting like the 6th, I believe, which was Monday, it was like fire for fire. So yeah, like grateful for that. But yeah, no, it's been busy.
Isn't it incredible how when you're at work, someone with like 20 times your net worth can just come in and shatter every someone with like 20 times your net worth can just come in and shatter every seemingly objective reality that you once held
Yeah.
in that position.
Like-
Just 20 times your net worth can just come in and shatter every seemingly objective reality that you once held
Yeah.
in that position.
Like-
Just
like
like
that.
that. You know? Like, oh,
Like that, like that.
just
Like
like
that.
that.
Was a little
That.
a little early,
Like
Like
that.
that. You know?
a little late.
Like
Like
that.
that. You know? Like, oh, why? Well, you know, it's the end of the year. You know, we have to, you know, clean up the dust bunnies.
Yeah,
and, you know,
shake
get
shit
everything
up.
out of the way, just
Dude,
for fun.
yeah.
You know, that's really. We think we can make more money this way.
It's
really what it boils down
that's
to.
always
The way, just
Dude,
for fun.
yeah.
You know, that's really. We think we can make more money this way.
it's
really what it boils down
that's
to.
always what it comes down.
Just for
Dude,
fun.
yeah.
You know, that's really. We think we can make more money this way.
It's
really what it boils down
that's
to.
always what it comes down to.
It's like, can I make more money this way though? Really?
Man, it's like you learn about. It's interesting what you're talking about the break, right? Because it's like I think you learn about. It's interesting what you're talking about the break, right? Because it's like I think when you're younger, you think about the year in terms of almost like these scheduled periods, but when
Yeah.
you become an adult, slowly it gets to a point where you're kind of just like, okay, this is just the rest of my life now, where you're
Yeah.
kind of just like constantly like working, and if it's not work, it's like other responsibilities and things like that. So you don't like. I remember as a kid, you're kind of like, oh, you know, like August is there's a certain feeling associated with that because you're
Yes.
like, oh, I'm gonna go to school, and then like May, there's a feeling associated with that. There's a feeling associated with like November because you're like when we hit December, you're kind of like chilling, like you know what I mean, like less serious sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, dude, I feel like in the last year too, like I found so many new things out about like the working force and things like that. That's been very interesting. Like yesterday, for example, there was this thing that I was always thinking about. And I think I kind of knew, but I wasn't like really sure of, which was like, it's really bad to let someone go for performance. And the reason is because if you let someone go for performance, very likely they can sue you and they'll win the lawsuit because performance is extremely objective. So like, for example, like in a lawsuit like that, like the lawyer on the employee side will prove things like effort and things like that, right? So this is why, like, remember last year where I was talking to you guys about, like the one person in my company that like I knew that got laid off,
Yeah.
and the reason they got laid off was a lack of business demand, where like it was basically like,
Yeah.
and the reason they got like I knew that got laid off,
Yeah.
and the reason they got laid off was a lack of business demand. Knew that got laid off,
Yeah.
and the reason they got laid off was a lack of business demand, where like it was basically like, we don't need your department, or like we don't need your role.
Okay.
And it was not that you were underperforming. And then yesterday I'm talking with so we went snowboarding yesterday, and I was chatting with one of my old bosses, and one of the things he was saying is like, even though the company
Am I doing okay on the OBS? Yes, I am. Okay, we've been recording for 47 minutes. Jesus Christ. I think I have about like 13 more minutes in me, so we can make it about an hour. Let's keep going.
he's doing well, he has to deal with a lot of these bureaucratical things, like like he has to deal with clients that are like, oh, we want to leave, but he has to kind of like tell them, hey, like you're locked into this contract, and like he has to deliver news like that. He has to try and like kind of find ways to almost like make people quit because they don't want to fire the underperformers, because then they can go to lawyers and then it's a whole thing, right? So it's like one of those things where like, man, like even from like a work standpoint, you don't even think about stuff like they can go to lawyers and then it's a whole thing, right? So it's like one of those things where like, man, like even from like a work standpoint, you don't even think about stuff like that, dude. Like you don't think about like if you're a business owner, like now you kind of have to do these maybe scummy things to even get rid of someone. Like it's crazy.
That's right.
Man.
You don't think about it. If any of my coworkers are watching this, especially my superiors, I never think about litigation against the company ever. Not ever once.
Of someone like it's crazy.
That's right.
Man.
You don't think about it. If any of my coworkers are watching this, especially my superiors, I never think about litigation against the company ever. Not ever once.
I think I kind of want to zoom in on Arya when he's doing this. So I'll leave a marker here. If you click M, it will bring up the marker. And then if you click M again, it'll bring up this tab. You can name it. Think for zooms, I will do green. And I don't need to name it. Yeah, a little too much. For now, greens. Greens are our zooms.
Workers are watching this, especially my superiors. I never think about litigation against the company ever. Not ever once has that ever come across my mind. I'm not thinking about it, not plotting on it or anything like that.
When he looks away innocently, that's when we'll zoom out.
Like that.
Of course.
Say 100.
Workers are watching this, especially my superiors. I never think. I never my superiors.
I'm just saying 100 so that it's like that's the zoom. Later we're gonna have to keyframe this. I'm not gonna do it now because I want to make the cuts later. But for later, these are just a mental note. I might forget about it, so that's why I'm putting it there. So this is 0 for you come in at like a keyframe, and a quick zoom to wherever zoom that you want, all the way to 100%. So do like a quick zoom. So when he's stumbling across his words, this is where it will zoom close to his face.
I never think about litigation
and then it'll be zoomed decently
against the company ever. Not.
And then when he goes, not ever
once.
Once.
Ever once. No. Not ever.
Once. So we'll go, let's say 120.
Once has that ever come across my mind? I'm not thinking about it.
Not thinking about it. Do 140.
Thinking about it. Not
the plotting
on it or anything like that. Plotting on it or anything like that. Plotting on it or anything.
This will have to be 160 because the last cut was the most zoom. And then we'll have a keyframe here, and then we'll do a slide slow. If I did a keyframe from this to this, the zoom out would be too slow, so I think this will be fine. And we move on.
Yeah,
of course. No, but
thank you for bringing that up. That was
like, no, it's insane.
Well, I'll be honest.
Well, I'll be honest.
No, it's insane.
Well, I'll be honest. I was ignorant to this, so now I'm like, yeah, like now I know my bargaining chips. You know, like
yeah, no, just to that point of
Like,
Yeah, no, just to that point of like finding creative ways to let people go. Like, you know, there's been, and this is online, and I don't know, like, you know, how truthful this is, but like return to office mandates, RTOs.
yes, like where people try to get
Yeah.
frust.
Office mandates, RTOs.
Yes, like where people try to get frustrating your employees to quit or
frustrating your
whatever,
employees and stuff like that.
Frustrating your employees to quit or
Frustrating your
whatever,
employees and stuff like that. So I know, like, yeah, people have been getting really creative, like taking out perks, taking out benefits, just to like make it like not worth it. Where people are like, you know, like fuck this, like, you know, I'm kind of over it. So yeah, I know it's been very interesting. But yeah, like just you mentioning how different being like a student versus being in the workforce is, like that is like one of the bigger transitions, like, you know, in my life right now. And I feel like even still, maybe it's because it's starting a new job, like it's just like learning new things about like what it is to be an adult in the workforce, like, and you know, it's learning new things about like what it is, like what it is to be an adult in the work, new things about like what it is to be an adult in the workforce, like, and you know, it's funny because people say, oh, I don't take vacations, like what's the point? Like, don't get me wrong, like I will most likely always take vacations, like maybe like how big, like I don't know if I'll ever be taking like a 2-week vacation all at once, like, you know what I mean? Just because like I given the job that I do, like I feel like it just takes you out of so much rhythm.
If you do that,
like, and I don't get me wrong, rhythm.
If you do that,
like, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but like, and I don't get me wrong.
If you do that,
like, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but like now I just kind of understand that mentality a lot. Where like before I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you don't have a life. Like work can't be your life. But then, you know, just a lot more dynamics there. But it's very interesting.
You can take a 2-week vacation as long as you're allowed to check in on things.
Yeah. Like I mean, then are you on vacation then? Like your wife, you know, there's the vacation.
Wife, eh?
No, dude.
No. Like, you know, I'm saying like there's the trope like you see in TV shows where you're on vacation, but you're checking your emails constantly, and your wife is like, "What the fuck is the point? We're taking the vacation."
Yeah, I mean, like I have to afford
time
it.
with you.
That is
and you're checking your emails the whole time, like buddy over here. I heard of crazy time with you.
That is
and you're checking your emails the whole time, like buddy over here. I heard a crazy story about Luke taking his girlfriend shopping and going into the fucking dressing room with his computer at reading emails. That threw me the fuck off. Yes, that's your friend.
Oh, I told you that.
No, you didn't.
Dressing room with his computer at reading emails. That threw me the fuck off.
Wait. I need to fix these cuts.
Dressing room with
Okay, his still looking.
computer at
We don't need this.
girlfriend shopping.
But I do want to bring up him starting to laugh.
Crazy story about Luke taking his girlfriend shopping and going into the fucking dressing room with his computer at reading emails.
When Arya looks over.
Computer at reading. Computer at reading emails. That threw me the fuck. Computer at reading emails. That threw me the fuck off. Yes, that's your friend.
Oh, I told you that.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
We were sitting
This is
around.
new to me. Yeah, tell everyone.
No, we were sitting
This is
around.
new to me. Yeah, tell everybody else, please.
No, stuff like that.
First of all, I want to just say. First of all, I want to just say my girlfriend is an incredibly loving and understanding person. So do not like.
Definitely is.
I am not saying that person. So do not like. Person. So do not like.
Definitely is.
I am not saying this as in like I am correct, and I'm not saying this as in like, you know, like other people should emulate this. I don't think they should emulate this. The context was we were talking about like going shopping with our girlfriends and our partners, and how it's like you can't just go shopping. You kind of have to like lock in and like be present, right? Like if your girlfriend's trying on clothes, you got to like walk with her and blah, 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 and
give
do all that
commentary.
things.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, if your girlfriend's trying on clothes, you gotta like walk with her and blah, 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 and
Give
do all that things.
commentary. Yeah.
And then I was kind of like, I don't. And then I was kind of like, I don't even remember how this was brought up, but I was kind of like, well, because I think there was another person in the conversation who was also in a relationship that was like,
Your sister and her boyfriend.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I think I was like, and me and my sister, like we were kind of a little bit more similar in that style where she appreciates the presence more than like the involvement. Cause it's like for her, it's like, oh, like if he's coming, like that's the effort, right? Like it's like, I don't need him to fucking care about fabrics like as much as I do. So I was kind of like telling her, like, it is kind of like that with Alyssa and I, where like, you know, in the past, it would be like when I go, I would like, you know, try to like focus on her and then like I would clearly be distracted and vice versa. And then it started to lead to the things where like she would just go shopping by herself and I would be at home. And I was like, then I was just like, one day I was like, hey, look, I need to like get some stuff done. I want to like, you want to go to the mall. I want to come with you. I want to go like have lunch with you and do all that stuff. But you know, if you go to Aritzia and you want to spend like 40 minutes there, is it okay if I bring my laptop and I do a bit of work? And don't get me wrong, it's crazy.
First off,
There's no job in the world that is that important.
Pause.
No, it was from
I just need to highlight how wild it is to take your.
don't get me wrong, it's crazy.
First off,
There's no job
Pause.
in the world that is
Pause.
that important.
Pause.
No, it was from
I just need to highlight how wild it is to take your laptop to the
To
mall.
Aritzia.
Like to
Hey,
Aritzia.
I'm going to Aritzia for 40 minutes. Gonna take my laptop.
yeah,
That's
no, everyone was staring. So basically, like, everyone was staring. So basically, like, what Dee was saying was, I was in the general sitting area where
Okay,
all the
general.
boyfriends are, and I'm
yes.
and they're all on their phones. My laptops already. People are looking at me crazy. And then Alyssa comes and she's like, "We're gonna go try on some clothes. Can you come?" So I brought my laptop into the dressing room.
Oh god.
And they're all on their phones. My laptops already. People are looking at me crazy. And then Alyssa comes and she's like, "We're gonna go try on some clothes. Can you come?" So I brought my laptop into the dressing room. So
Don't try this at home.
that is what.
Don't try this at home. Don't try this at
So
home.
that is what happened. Again, I'm not. I apologize. Okay.
To all the kids out
Dressing room.
Don't try this at home.
that is what happened. Again, I'm not. I apologize. Okay.
To
What happened again? That is what happened again. I'm not. I apologize. Okay.
To all the kids out there watching, I promise you, your bosses are not paying you enough to do that.
Also, I'm just saying
Maybe
this.
your clients are though.
I'm
Bosses are not paying you enough.
happened again. I'm not. I apologize. Okay.
To all the kids out there watching, I promise you, your bosses are not paying you enough to do that.
Also, I'm just saying.
Out there watching, I promise you, your bosses are not paying you enough to do that. Out there watching, I promise you, your bosses are not paying you enough to do that. I promise you, your bosses are not paying you enough to do that.
Also, I'm just saying
Maybe
this.
your clients are though.
I'm just saying that was a. I'm just saying
Maybe
this.
your clients are though.
I'm just saying that was a one time thing, and it was a time sensitive thing that had to happen on the weekend. So like, I wanted to get it done. And
That's
Like-
one of those situations where you just say, I can't go shopping today, babe.
Yeah, no,
But
you're
it's
not
like
wrong.
a 30-minute, 40-minute thing. Like all of this to say, I only bring that up just because like situations like that arise. Like whether, like don't get me wrong, that's not the normal. Like
Okay, so we've hit an hour into the recording. I think I'm gonna call it there. We've gone into 15 minutes of editing the podcast. Not quite a lot, but we did make a good runway for us for the next, I'd say, couple of days of editing. Don't want to stress myself too much in editing this in all in one go. So at least we set the groundwork. Let's do a little recap. So started the project, brought all of our items of editing into the software. We have audio files, camera files, organized them, and then we auto aligned all of those clips. We trimmed off the beginning and ends, the parts that we do not need, and then we made a multicam timeline. With that timeline, we were able to have 2 different timelines where we can make cuts to one and we can color grade with another. So with this episode today, we were focusing on the cuts and we got through 15 minutes of cutting. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna end the recording here for time sensitive purposes. I don't want to have too long an episode. Honestly, don't know if I will be editing this anyways. I think I'll just leave it as raw, as like a kind of like a trial run for this kind of channel. But we are figuring it out as we go, and I appreciate everybody that is following along with me. So stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Have a nice one.